The eCom Seller Summit was created to prove that with the right tools and training, anyone and everyone can make money in e-commerce. So many people want to try their hand at e-commerce, selling on eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and more, but they're afraid they won't be successful. This summit will show you that there's many ways to do e-commerce, and there are many platforms you can explore, because e-commerce really has no limits. It really can pay your bills, and e-commerce never sleeps. There's nothing like waking up to profits from getting sales all night long. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the eCom Seller Summit.
Welcome to 3PL and Multi-Channel, what you need to know from a seller's perspective. My name is John Paladin. I'm talking to you from Jacksonville, Florida, and I want to thank Nicole and her team for the invitation to speak to this group, and also want to apologize in advance for my raspy voice. I've caught a bug here, and hopefully you'll be able to understand me. So let's get started. Our agenda today is first an introduction. Then we'll talk about what a 3PL is and why you might need one. What is multi-channel? What to look for in a good 3PL company. We'll talk about number 5, FBMfulfillment.com, and how it relates to number 2, 3, and 4. And lastly, we'll have a special offer for you for the attendees of this event. I founded UFM Underwear for Men. That's a men's premium underwear brand. We'll talk about more in a minute. It's designed for athletics, medical, work, and everyday wear. FBMfulfillment.com is a 3PL company. SureSource Manufacturing is an India sourcing company. I'm the inventor and patent holder of the adjustable pouch for UFM underwear. I'm a mechanical engineer from General Motors Institute. I guess I'm an underwear engineer now. I have an MBA from the University of Virginia and CPM certified, which is kind of like a CPA for materials management and supply chain. 45 years of business experience in multiple disciplines and multiple industries. The UFM Underwear for Men was founded in 2014, as I said, based on our patented pouch system. If you look up here on the right, you've got a drawstring that goes around the perimeter of the pouch. You tighten up the drawstrings, it picks everything up, eliminates chafing, rubbing, provides good, excellent support. It's 750 SKUs. We sell it on Magento, 3 Shopify websites, Amazon FBM, and Walmart. Those are our URLs down there. And we had big problems with 3PLs, so we created our 3PL company on our own because we knew we could do it better. On the bottom right is our TV, national TV commercial. You can see it on any of those networks below, or you can go to ufmunderwear.com and see it right on our website. FBMfulfillment.com was created by eCom sellers, us, for eCom sellers. So we really see the business through the eyes of an eCom seller. We're based in Jacksonville, as we said. We created it for UFM based on our frustration. We actually got suspended from Amazon multiple times over the poor performance of our 3PL. And so we created our own company, so that never happened again. We have very advanced technology. For instance, we pick 40 orders at a time. We have virtually 0 error rate. We have multi-channel. We can connect to almost any other platform. We've had a resounding success, almost perfect, perfect late shipments from 2021 and 22. We expanded into third parties, and now we offer our clients the same excellent service that we develop for our own needs. So what is a 3PL? 3PL stands for third-party logistics. It's basically outsourcing of e-commerce logistic processes of receiving, warehousing, which is inventory storage, B2C customer fulfillment, basically sending directly to a customer, returns, order prep, and bulk inventory shipment to places like Amazon. Then why use a 3PL fulfillment company? Well, first of all, time savings. There's a saying, you can either be working on the business or working in the business. And if you want to be working on the business to grow it, not in the business, get involved in the day-to-day so that you don't have time to really grow the business. And I know you wouldn't be on this webinar if you weren't looking to grow your businesses. So the other problem would be a lot of people have day jobs where the e-commerce is a side hustle. So you have lots of other responsibilities. So there's only so many hours a day. Similarly, the ability to go on vacation. If you need to travel for work, you have to go to family events. Those all consume your time. If you outsource, delegate things like 3PL, that opens up that time, gives you a lot more flexibility. But I guess the main focus is being able to work on the business to be able to grow it to what your expectations and dreams are. You got to have a consistent shipping performance. You can't be hit and miss, especially in today's world, especially if you work with like an Amazon. You got to be able to ship every day on time, high quality. Space, maybe your living room's getting filled up, your garage is getting filled up, your wife is giving you a hassle, or your spouse is giving you a hassle of all the clutter around. Getting rid of all that clutter, shipping it off to a delegated 3PL warehouse is a great idea. Outsourcing to experts. We're not all experts in everything, but you outsource to a 3PL expert. You get the benefit of all of their skills and expertise. And with our company, we also offer some more generic coaching for businesses because we like to take small companies and grow them up into big companies. 3PLs are shipping a lot more volume than you probably can all by yourself, and they get much better rates what they can pass along to you. And then we'll talk about the whole single inventory shipping to multi-channels here in a second. Why FBM versus FBA? Well, there's a lot of articles on the internet about this. FBM has some advantages, FBA has some advantages. First of all, FBM is the best for multi-channel because you have one inventory and you're shipping it to here, there, there, there. We'll talk more about that in a minute. We all know about the inventory limits brought on by Amazon in the last couple of years. Caused a lot of people a lot of headaches. FBM is a solution to that. Amazon receiving delays. I'm hearing things, people taking 3, 4, 5 weeks for Amazon to receive their goods while they're sitting there out of stock, losing their BSR. That's usually not a problem with FBM, fulfillment by merchant. Amazon price increases, we all know, we've all seen that happen. Amazon risk, having all your eggs in one basket. Multiple units per order. With FBA, you actually pay for every item. So if you have an order for 3 items, you're going to pay your FBA fee times 3. When you're dealing through an FBM fulfilled by merchant, or you're basically paying one fee up front, and then the second, third, and fourth are very small additions. So that means more margin. Superior service. There was a day when Prime meant 2-day. Well, that doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure everybody around this buys from Amazon has seen that, you can buy something Prime and it takes a week. The promise date's a week. So, but that's not the case when you deal with a 3PL like us. 2-day is 2-day, period. Lighter weights tend to be more attractive in FBM. You get into the first class shipping below £1 is extremely attractive, extremely affordable. But you get big heavy things like TVs or canoes or things like that. Those things may be better off with FBA. And then obviously contract shipping rates are billed at cost with FBM, or it should be. There are some definite advantages to FBA. The Prime badge, of course. Everybody thinks that's so critically important. It's not always the case. We originally did not have the Prime badge. We implemented Seller Fulfilled Prime, got the Prime badge. expecting it was going to drive orders through the roof. Didn't happen. Then Amazon changed the requirements. They put a poison pill in Self-Fulfilled Prime that pretty much made us have to exit the program early last year, and we thought it was going to have a big impact, and it didn't. So I guess if you're competing with the buy box, being FBA is more important. But if you're a private label, not as much. So shipping large, heavy items is an advantage for FBA, just because Amazon's got so many warehouses across the country. They can put it in warehouses close to the sale, and it keeps the cost down for shipping for Amazon. And then there's the FBM hybrid strategy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this other than to say you actually create listings for FBA and FBM items separately for the same items. And then one backs the other up. If you want to learn more about the FBA, FBM strategy, just go to fbmfulfillment.com. There's an article there that talks about it and how to set it up. So you need to evaluate the true cost of self-fulfillment, your time, of all those things right there, the cost of your space, whether even it's in your house or you have rented space, packaging cost, labeling cost, shipping insurance, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Software costs, do you have a labeling package or whatever that's going to cost you? And then just really the opportunity cost, where if you're shipping packages, what else aren't you doing, either professionally or personally? And then you need to calculate the true cost in FBA. Sometimes people don't really see all the hidden costs. Listing fees, obviously, FBA fees, obviously, but storage fees, the dreaded removal costs. You get too much, Amazon sends it back to you, it's a mess, it spoils a lot of your material, gets lost, penalties, prep fees, shipping fees, drip fee. This is one that a lot of people misunderstand. If your MOQ is bigger than what Amazon will accept due to your inventory limitation, then you have to park your inventory somewhere else. Then that's extra shipping costs, and then you have to have that inventory prepped and shipped to Amazon, which is more shipping costs. So you got to capture all those costs in the evaluation. When you get returns, how you handle returns, return to restock, how do you get that returns that are good quality restocked? There are costs associated there. Then you got the risk of Amazon having all your inventory. So we're going to talk a lot more about Amazon risk in a little bit. And then we all get the frustration with Amazon support issues. So let's talk about multi-channel. What is multi-channel? Multi-channel simply is selling multiple stores from a single inventory. So you've got one inventory, say, sitting in Jacksonville, and you're shipping to Amazon, you're shipping to Walmart, Etsy, eBay, etc., etc., etc. Really, multi-channel, the benefit is about diversifying risk and multiplying opportunity. It's not putting all your eggs in one basket. I can tell you a story. Last year, we were out of the market for Amazon for 3 months. Not because we did anything wrong. Amazon was having technical issues. They told us to delete all our listings, leave it for 48 hours, and then recreate the listings. Didn't sound pleasant, but we did it. Ran into all kinds of other technical problems, and it took us over 3 months to get our all 750 items back up and selling. So again, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. Now the key here is, multi-channel may sound complicated. It's not. It's actually very simple. Once you get it set up, it runs in automatic. Obviously, you got to take the time to set up the Walmart listings. You got to take the time to set up the, Shopify listings. You got to take the time to set up the, WooCommerce listings or whatever. But once you get it set up, it's a piece of cake. Now, here's basically how the third-party fulfillment model works. Your items, you basically acquire your items. You have your items shipped to your third-party fulfillment center. They receive your items. You list the items in your store. The inventories sync between your third-party fulfillment and your store. So your inventory in your store is always up to date. Once you sell an item to your customer, that store passes the orders down to the third-party fulfillment company. They fulfill the item to your customer, and then they push the shipping information automatically back to your store. And this all happens all seamlessly, automatically on autopilot. It's very cool. Now, when you talk about multi-store, it's really just taking that, what we just talked about, to the next level. So you've got your third-party fulfillment here, but now you've connected it to multiple stores. So again, the inventory syncs outwards to every store, and the orders flow in from each store to this central hub, where the inventory gets shipped to your customer, and then the shipping information gets passed back to your original stores. So, what do you look for in a good 3PL company? Well, number one, and probably most important, is reliability. If you don't have reliability, if you can't depend on them 365 days a year, it's not the right company for you. Obviously, as I told you from our experiences we got suspended 5 times from Amazon due to 3PL poor performance. And we just said the heck with it. That's why we created FBMFulfillment.com. The second thing to look at is the pricing. A lot of 3PLs out there will have very complex, convoluted pricing. You need to really understand that, because once you get hooked up with 3PL, switching is kind of a pain in the hind end and can be expensive. So let me give you an example. How do they define a pallet position? Now, a pallet position at a lot of 3PL companies is defined by the physical space that a pallet takes up, but they limit it to a single SKU. So let's say you've got one box of 10 different SKUs that can literally fit on a pallet. A lot of companies are going to charge you for 10 pallet positions. Ours doesn't. We'll talk about that in a bit, but ours is a physical cubic space as a pallet position, no matter what gets put in that position. Setup fees. Do they charge you for setup fees? Do they charge you to connect your web stores? Do they charge for label fees? Sometimes that they have to amortize, or even the software companies they work with has to amortize the cost of generating a label to say, Amazon by shipping or whatever. Those interfaces they'll tack on special fees you got to be careful of. Packaging fees, receiving fees, monthly minimum fees. Some places charge $200-300 a month minimum, no matter how much you're actually storing there or how much you ship. There could be other hidden fees. Are their shipping rates built at their cost? Are you getting the full advantage of their negotiated rates, or are they putting a markup on it? Where is the warehouse located relative to the port of entry into the country? And what's going to be the cost to get the product from that port of entry to the warehouse? Now, if you're bringing it in from China, it's easy to jump to the conclusion to say, oh, I want a California warehouse. Well, yes and no. Obviously, we're going to talk about the issues that they're having with the ports on the West Coast. But California is a very expensive place to do business, and California is not where the population center of the United States is. And again, we'll talk about that here in a second. So you really have to look at the big picture of your total costs. What are the costs that 3PL is going to charge you? What are the costs for getting the products from the port to the facility? And what about the cost to get it from the facility to your customer? 3PLs could have SKU limitations. Several do. They could have inventory limitations. Distributed inventory is a hot topic. Do you want to work with one warehouse with one location, or do you want to work with a warehouse with multiple locations? Well, on the surface, it sounds like working with multiple locations would make sense, because you would have more product closer to your customer, and the ship distances would be the least. Well, yes and no. There's some gotchas in that one. When you start putting multiple warehouses out there, now you've got, say, your inventory in 3 or 4 different warehouses. How do you know that your inventory is going to be where your order needs to ship from? Are you going to be shipping from the East Coast to the West Coast to fill a West Coast order because you didn't have the right item in your West Coast warehouse. So, and then some of the items, depending on the size, and you got to look at every one of these in kind of the context of your specific business, your specific products. But, a FedEx 2-day is 50 states, and it's very cost effective. So, there's no advantage of being close to your customer because 2 days is 2 days. International client support, a lot of our customers are international. And does the 3PL are set up to deal with international customers? International rates, do they offer the ability to ship internationally from the United States competitively? Do they offer the right kind of insurance? The infamous delivered not received. Probably most people in this audience have been burnt by this before. That's where the tracking shows the items delivered, but the customer says that they never got it. Either it was misdelivered or there's some fraud going on. Does the insurance cover that? Not all of it does. The billing cycle. Are you being billed weekly or monthly? And how does that affect your cash flow? Do you want to pay a bill 4 times a month or do you want to pay a bill once a month? And are they willing to work with small sellers? So, taking a step back, there's a lot of different sizes in 3PL warehouses. And bigger isn't not necessarily better. Do you want to be a big frog in a small pond, or do you want to be a small frog in a big pond? Will they have the time to talk to you? Can you get somebody on the phone? Can you get your questions answered? Can you go visit your product if you need to? Do you want to go with the Walmart, or do you want to go with the concierge? That's a decision you got to make. But at the end of the day, it's all about customer satisfaction history. Do they take good care of their customers, or do they do stupid things like the 3PL that we worked with before we decided to open our own up, where they decided to move their whole warehouse, the week before Black Friday. Imagine what kind of a disaster that could cause. We are very happy that we've never lost a customer because we take very good care of them and we treat them like we'd want to be treated, and we treat them from a seller's perspective. As I mentioned earlier, this is the United States and this is how the population is distributed. Obviously, there's a lot of population out here in California, but not around California. The population is, Texas is number 2, Florida is number 3, and, New York and Pennsylvania is number 4 and number 5. So, you have to take that into account into your distribution strategy. But you also need to look at, what's growing. California actually lost population in the last census, and who knows what will happen going forward. But where Texas was number 2 and Florida was number 5, so these over here were much smaller in magnitude, but they did grow faster. We've all heard about the problems they're having in the West Coast. We've all seen the empty store shelves. We know that ships are taking 4 and 5 weeks idling around in off the California coast waiting to get unloaded. And what you may not know is once they do get unloaded, that's just the first step. They got to get on a truck, and the truck's got to get to its destination. And there's plenty of bottleneck that's happening there as well. So you have to take that into account in your overall warehousing 3PL evaluation. New York City has its challenges as well. Like California, New York is a high cost of business state. A lot of stuff comes into New York, but they do have some backups. They do have some weather delays that California or the Southern Atlantic does not have. There's more product losses and things like that happen coming through New York. Going back just one more thing to that. If you're coming across the Atlantic, either from an Atlantic crossing or through the Panama Canal, you might want to consider the Southern Atlantic ports. Much less traffic and, oftentimes much shorter drayages to your storage warehouse. Let's talk about shipping rates generically. they really kind of fall into two different families. Family 1 is where it's weight plus size plus zone dependent, when zone being just distance. The other category to the right would be flat rate programs. Now, the most cheapest program that you're going to get is USPS First Class. That tops out, well, tops out at 12 ounces for most accounts, but the high volume accounts can go up to 16 ounces. And that's really going to be the cheapest way you're going to be able to get things delivered through a postal system or a carrier. Then you look at, the ground programs are kind of similar, weight, size, and zone. Over on the flat rate side, USPS Priority is zone based, but it is not weight based. So you're basically, if it fits, it ships. It goes into a specified price per box, and it will be more expensive depending on how far it travels. Conversely, on the FedEx side, their one-weight program really means one rate. So, if it fits within the size of the box, it can go anywhere in 50 states for the same price. It's a very good price. So, just a couple notes down here. No matter which way you go, you definitely need to have tracking all the way to the customer. You need to consider shipping reliability. USPS is going to be the lowest reliable. You're going to have the most problems, either with missed deliveries or damage or just getting lost. FedEx is probably the best. USPS insurance is not very good, even though it's an insured rate, which comes free with priority. Unless they lose the package in transit, it's not going to do you much good. The signature required is not practical. Even though you'll read about that, Amazon says, well, proof of delivery requires a signature. Customers hate that, absolutely hate that, because it ends up going to they have to go to the post office to pick it up a lot of times, and that will turn out to be some pretty negative feedback, or either through Amazon or whatever. They're not going to be happy. So, what can FBM Fulfillment offer you? Well, we offer 4 basic programs. Our primary program is third-party fulfillment, B2C, that's business to customer, multi-channel e-commerce, whether it be your website, Amazon, Walmart, etc., etc., etc. We also have a program where we will receive your Amazon FBA inventory, store it, and then ship it back out to the FBA warehouse with drip feed. Now, that program is currently on hold for us until we can find some more capacity. We have our reserved available capacity to our existing customers and our third-party fulfillment customers. So we are taking on, just to be clear, we are taking on third-party fulfillment customers, whether that be FBM, Shopify, etc. But we're not taking on new FBA storage-only customers at this time. We offer return services, but only in combination with the first two, and we offer prep and rework services only in combination with the first two. Why partner with FBMFulfillment.com? Well, first is we're extremely dependable and reliable, as I mentioned earlier. Perfect late shipment record, extremely low pick error rate. We're very affordable. We have very simple pricing, which I'll talk about in a second. We have excellent reach with our FedEx One Rate program. We can hit all 50 states in 2 days. We have an amazing international program, which we'll talk about. We have very advanced technology built into our system. We offer monthly billing, so you only have to pay us once a month. And we have our famous customer service and satisfaction. Other cool things we can do is we can do the FBA FBM hybrid program by the each or the case. We track both case and each within our system. We break cases to satisfy the FBM, and we ship whole cases to satisfy the FBA. Again, you can learn more about that on our website, fbmfulfillment.com. We can have alternative SKUs, so the same item can have a couple different names. So if you had like the item set up in Etsy under one name and you have it set up on Amazon under a different name, the same item could have two different names in our system, and it'll be transparent. Alternate codes, kind of the same thing, whether it's the SKU or the code, it's kind of the same idea. You can do virtual bundles, so you can say, okay, when you order this SKU, it's really this item plus this item plus this item, and then we just basically create the bundle on the fly. We don't have to pre-package the bundle or stock the item as a pre-configured bundle. And we also have substitute products. If you ever find yourself phasing out of product design 1 into design 2, we can set it up in our system where that happens transparently, and you never run out of stock on the old former versus the latter. Our shipping options at FBM Fulfillment are first class, which I said is obviously the most cost effective. Priority, of course, our 2-day goes up to 644 cubic inches. Weight, it doesn't matter. We have our FedEx Express, we offer Ground Express, and our international shipping, which I alluded to earlier, we can ship to almost any country in the world for $10 a pound. We shipped to over 163 countries last year. We also do DHL Express, which is good for international, a quicker international solution. And our pricing is very simple. We charge $2 an order, 50 cents a pick. We charge our carrier charges at cost. We offer polybag as our standard packaging. If you need special packaging, like a special size box or whatever, that's extra, but we help you source that. We bring it in, and we charge you at our cost. Our FBA storage, or our storage fees, are $15 per pallet, and that's mixed SKUs. So that's when we say a pallet location, we're talking of a physical volume of space. We don't care how many SKUs are in that pallet position. We keep our miscellaneous charges very simple, just $25 a man hour, and whatever we're doing, whether it's receiving, whether we are doing repackaging, whether we're doing Amazon return, etc., it's $25 an hour, and I can guarantee you that our customers think that we are very fair with that. We don't pad that at all. We do not accept flammable, explosive, hazardous materials. Our warehouses are not temperature controlled, but they're temperature monitored. We have several customers that do candles without a problem. And food products require an additional approval. And last but not least, we have a special bonus for eCom sellers for the 2022 event. We will waive our setup fees. We will waive all the marketplace connection fees. So you basically have no upfront fees. We will waive receiving fees for 2022 for the whole year. We'll reduce the storage fees from $15 a pallet down to $13 a pallet for the year. And as a special bonus, if you happen to have any interest at all in our men's underwear product, you can go to ufmunderwear.com and use the eCom sellers coupon code and get 25% off your order at as many pairs as you want to buy, I think up to 10. So with that, this brings us to the end of the presentation. Due to the recorded nature of the presentation, I guess we can't really do Q&As. You can certainly call us or email us at sales@fbmfulfillment.com. My Skype ID is right there, and as well as my LinkedIn and our Facebook connection. So all of our social media is right there. So again, thank you very much. Oh, and I also want to point out that we are A+ accredited with the Better Business Bureau. So let me see. There you go. And again, thank you very much, and hope you have a great seminar. This is John Paul Linden from Jacksonville, signing off.